So today's update is about the major data released by Statistics Canada on farm income. I'm going to be focusing on farm cash receipts for the first 3 months of 2020 and compare that to the first 3 months of 2019 to sort of understand perhaps a little bit of what the crisis impact has been on the industry. Tons of data have been released by Statistics Canada, but I'm just going to focus on the first quarter cash receipts numbers. So this is not a story about cannabis, but I have to say a few words about cannabis so that to make sure that we all understand the data. So cannabis receipts grew significantly over the last year, despite some of the challenges that are specific to the industry. The fact of the matter is that cannabis receipts for the first 3 months of 2020 compared to the first 3 months of 2019 were up 275%. So if you look at crop receipts, for example, first quarter of 2020 compared to the first quarter of 2019, crop receipts went up 3.8%. So that's the number right here. But if you exclude cannabis receipts out of crop receipts, you actually record a decline in crop receipts of about 4.7%. And that's not a surprise if you look at some of the different commodities. Wheat receipts were down, barley was down, soybeans down, corn down. Well, canola is the only commodity or the only oilseed for which we actually record an increase. Lentils, not pictured in the chart, actually went up. Receipts for lentils went up about 50%, even more than 50%. 52, I believe, is the right number. So overall, there's been some significant downward pressure on receipts for the crop sector in the first 3 months of 2020 relative to the first 3 months of 2019. Some of that is COVID-19 related. Some of the pressures that we're seeing as well for the first 3 months, especially at the very beginning of the year, was actually not related to the COVID-19 crisis. But if you look at livestock receipts, they went up they went up about 4%. And you see that none of the major challenges that have been recorded in the industry are actually captured in the data for the first 3 months. Cattle and calves were down somewhat, but hogs were up more, almost 15%. Dairy was up more than 5%. Dairy, for example, it's not until April that we saw milk prices come down for producers, and it's not until April that we saw some significant cutbacks in production. So it is to be expected that some of the income pressures that have been recorded for the livestock sector is going to be obviously more significant looking at Q2 numbers. But for now, Q1 numbers are saying a little bit of weakness for cattle, but hogs and dairy are showing positive for the early part of 2019. So for more information, you can go to our website at fcc.ca/knowledge.